Welcome to Daily Meditation with Sangha Live.
Yeah, here is to see you. We used to have some time to sit together. Yesterday I sort of introduced the theme of fullness and emptiness. And we talked about a little bit, we started to speak about some dimensions of our kind of fuller sense of Dharma practice. You spoke about the sense of offering, the way that fills out our practice, a connection, the offering, and what we think of as dharma in the usual sense, but actually the whole of our practice has dharma through this sense of how we offer, how we give ourselves to our practice, how we offer our attention to what's happening, to each other, to whatever's moving in our lives, and the way that sense of offering fills things out. And there's so many ways we could think of it fills out our practice. Which might think, what populates or who populates your mind? It's maybe a strange question, but when we look, we see the one who seems to take up the most space in our mind often is oneself. How easily so many of our thoughts are thoughts of self-interest, thoughts of self-concern, thoughts of self-comfort, thoughts of self-fear, thoughts of self-judgment. Basically, it's all about me, what I think, what I want, what I'm doing, how things are for me, how things could or should be different or better for me, what I'm like, what other people think I'm like. Takes a lot of space. And of course, if I am taking up all the space, if all my thoughts are about me, if all my thoughts are self-reinforcing thoughts, self-blaming thoughts or self-comforting thoughts, well, that just reinforces the sense of me as what's so important. And of course, we live in a very individualistic kind of culture. And that can reinforce a sense of I and me and my. And I and me and my turns out to be a kind of tyranny, certainly when it's taking up all the space. That's why running through the contemplative traditions, there's that sense of seva, right, of being of service. You can see that in your lives when that movement is there to take care of others. It might be one's family, it might be in the work you do, it might be in charities you support, whatever it is. When there's that sense of being concerned with others, what does this other need? How can I offer my care, my attention? That's potent. It's potent in terms of offering, like we said yesterday. It decenters my self-concern. And it also means there's just room for others in my mind. And of course, there are thoughts of others, but how far? In my book, Awake Where You Are, I talk about what I call the us field. And how far does one's us field extend? Is it just me? That's sort of pathologically selfish. Or is it just me and my loved ones, those close to me? It's understandable in some way, and yet still very narrow. And then we might to extend it to those I feel an affinity with, those who are in my tribe. And you see tribal loyalties, whether those are related to football teams or politics or religion or nation state, etc. And of course, I imagine that most of us here don't feel like those are our identification. We probably, hopefully, we feel like, oh no, all of humanity. All beings. I mean, that's why in Dharma practice, those refrains are there. May all beings. May all beings. We offer that thought, wish, prayer, intention And may all of us be at ease. May all of us be at peace. May all beings live in safety. Well, it's not just a nice thought, right? It's actualizing our sense of care for all. It's actually calling in all beings to our consciousness. It's reminding us that though we might have particular connections with some family, friends, though we might feel particular affinity with others because they agree with us or they share interests with us or whatever, but actually our sense of belonging, right? How we extend ourselves outwards, and also our sense of inclusion, how we bring others inward, right? The invitation for that to be boundless. It's not just a platitude, right? Oh, may all beings be no. It's like it's a reminder to belong totally, to fully populate our consciousness, so that our sense of what this is, this belonging to life, is as vast as possible, as inclusive as possible. So what do we mean when we say all beings? All of humanity, we might say, and then we might start to include all other, not just human beings, but other sentient beings, creatures of the air and of the earth and of the water. And then again, traditionally in Dharma practice, then it goes wider than that. Certainly, I would even encourage everybody to populate their consciousness with trees. Trees are really magnificent beings. And it's very much, it's sort of a tragedy when we only see trees as things. We know in theory they're living objects, we might not think of them as beings. Then you take something like the Lord of the Rings movie, where the trees move and speak to kind of give them that sense of sentience in some way. But hang out with trees for a while, particularly old trees, really, it's quite tangible. Young trees don't have so much presence or personality. Old trees have a lot. Some of you were sitting with me at Gaia House a couple of weeks ago, and there's one really magnificent, huge ancient oak tree in the front of the property. There's another, still very old, but slightly smaller oak tree, and then also a very gnarled, never pollarded plane tree. And just when you approach those trees, you just approach them with a certain kind of felt sensitivity. They radiate presence and even personality. They feel old and steady and wise and benevolent, actually. And often that's the feeling. Old trees feel very benevolent. And, we live in a materialist world. We live in a reductive world. We live in a world of measurement. And so we tend to dismiss ideas of trees being sentient or having personality or being able to actually sense the presence or personality of a tree. If it seems strange to you, my encouragement would be go to the park, go to the forest, hang out with trees. Buddha loved trees. If you read the text, born under a tree. Did his practice under trees. Awakened under a tree. Gave all his meditation instructions, beginning with the words, first go and sit under a tree or in some other useful place, and then died under a tree. That's a pretty strong endorsement for hanging out with trees. Look at you, my windows, I'm seeing this. I'm looking out at that. We don't have very huge oaks around here, but four around here is quite a big oak, just sort of in my eye line there. And even from here, 20 meters or so, I'm not really suggesting I can feel the tree from here. Just you look upon the tree, it's like, there's some sense of a blessing presence there. So, it's to extend our sense, like, who do we share this life with? So it's not just abstract, I share this life with all beings, trees, etc., but you actually orientate some attention to that sense of shared life. Shared life. Oh, that's my Dharma practice. Day by day, is just kind of finding out how can I really acknowledge this shared life. And then also in the tradition, there's very much a sense of other categories of beings. Beings that are unseen, celestial beings, guardian spirits, sense of a life that's populated in all kinds of mysterious ways. And again, we tend to ignore that, or because of our materialistic sort of scientific view, if we can't see it, we don't believe in it. If we can't measure it, it doesn't exist. And I used to think that that stuff was all a bit complicated, and maybe it's easier to leave it out of a Dharma practice and sort of teach within our cultural view. But increasingly, it seems to me that it's leaving out these subtler dimensions or seemingly more mysterious dimensions, the things that can seem to us like superstitions, like the personality of trees and the existence of all kinds of other beings. But when we leave those things out, it has an effect, right, of increasing our sense of materiality, reductiveness, and a sense of me as that which is central. So, we spoke about an altar yesterday and a shrine. We spoke about offerings to the shrine. And so that sense of that's a way we fill out our practice. Or it's another way we fill out our practice is to practice. You don't need to look for or find, right, or try to measure or see these sort of mysterious other beings. But what if we were to sit, like now, in meditation together, to sit as if our world, as if our consciousness, as if our experience is somehow full of life. Life that we know and life that's unknown. To sit here as if we sit in real kinship with all of life. Sit as if we belong to everyone and everything. As if everyone and everything belongs to us. In that deep belonging, we might find it easier to put down our neurotic, self-reinforcing repetition of I and me and my. So please take your seat for meditation. Take your seat. In the felt sense, we're sitting. Body on deep bath. And as you sense into this breathing body, and as you sense into the aliveness of your consciousness and to the activity in your mind, it's to see if you can treat it all as sacred, as deserving of your attention, as welcome. Meditation as a way of welcoming life, opening to life, offering one's attention to life. So here's our basic practice. Just sitting, steadying our attention and the naturalness of a breathing body, allowing everything to pass, unhooking your attention where we notice it's been caught up somewhere. And in the midst of this basic, simple process, sense of the fullness of life. That the buzzing in your consciousness. You want to meet that as if it's not just me and my faults, me and my problems, me and my stories. As if it's the buzzing of life, of everything. It's the fundamental aliveness that animates everything, you and me and trees, earth and sky, everyone and everything. This was to kinship with all of life. In such a way that every sensation, every sound, every thought is part of that kinship, part of this field of belonging. And sitting in the Sangha of all beings. like that line of Walt Whitman's in the poem where he says, "I am vast, I contain multitudes." And that's the way. Letting everything be included. The multitudes of thoughts and memories and sounds and sensations. In the sense that your thing need be a problem or a distraction. But when sounds appear, sounds in the building or in the street or wherever, human sounds, traffic sounds, bird sounds, they're just part of this deep kinship with life, this belonging to life, this inclusion of life. That our consciousness, our heart is as wide as the world. We're in everything. Everyone is welcome. The last few minutes of the sitting, you open up the borders of your mind. Needs to be where there seems to be an edge, a boundary. And see if it can soften, dissolve. Almost to see if in this moment all experience, all beings can be welcome. Welcome to come and go. Welcome to pass through. Welcome to be as they are. Just like this. May your beings be welcome in their hearts. May none be excluded from our care and understanding. May all the beings and all the dimensions and all the universes be at home with us, right here.
Today's podcast is an offering to you from our archive of freely available live daily classes. We make wisdom teachings and meditations as freely available as possible to as many people as wish to practice. You can help ensure we can continue to support a worldwide Sangha by leaving a review wherever you get your podcasts, by sharing this with someone who'd be interested, and by offering a small financial support at sangha.live/donate.